Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 14th of November. Looking at the euro dollar, and well, yesterday saw a solid up day there in the end. A little bullish harami effectively, but we'll see how we run through. Now we still do have the weekly pivot above us, which could still be a draw. We broke the pattern of the lower highs, lower lows, which is a bit clearer to be seen on here as we managed to switch, put a higher low in, and we've now sort of turning the other way. We've still got the daily pivot below us, which may be hit. We've already hit the R1 there. The range is still quite pinched, and you see how pinched the pivots are here. It wasn't a big range yesterday overall, which leaves us a bit tight, but my main focus, if it does keep on pushing upwards, would be for that towards that to a weekly pivot, maybe a longer term hold for that. I'll say a longer term over a couple of days maybe at the rate, but we'll see how it runs. It has, of course, we've got a trend line that's sort of running the other way now, or should be running the other way. It's a bit of a badly drawn one, he says. If I can get it on the bottom here. That's sort of been broken, that trend there, but see how this works out here. But it does look, well, bit iffy, bit sideward action. Maybe we could switch the other way. Back again. A real key thing to that would be a break below the daily pivot, but otherwise sort of bullish at the moment. Okay, the pound. The pound remains to me in a really dangerous area. Not in terms of the price it sits at, but the to and fro in terms of the agreement with Brexit. It seems that there was agreement yesterday between May and the European Commission there. However, that yet has to be approved everywhere, and it seems that 2 out of 7 so far of the members of the government there, of the cabinet, have said no, and it may be that it hits a lot of more no's and doesn't get agreed on this side, let alone the other side of the channel. So there we go. It means that we could see another volatile day. Maybe any good news spikes to the upside, but likewise, if this gets totally thrown out, it risks May's future and could see the pound sold off again. This uncertainty kicks in. Okay, so well, let's have a look at the 60-minute. What's here? I mean, we've still got the untouched daily pivot below, which could be a draw. You can see just how bitty this market is and how risky it is. I mean, if you're on the right side of it and you're sitting deep in the money, that's fine. If you're sitting around and trying to get into trades like this with stops of 15-20 pips, you've got just as much chance of getting stopped out. So it doesn't make for a great intraday trade at the moment. Okay, dollar yen. Unless of course you've guessed it right, and you're right, I should say. And then you might get some good movement, but in your direction. Dollar yen, well, it's still, all intents and purposes, consolidating here, but still in this upward trend. So not a great deal of change there. You see the consolidation on the 4 hourlies here is getting into a little bit of a wedge pattern there. A break from that may give a clue to which direction next. It's right on the daily pivot. R1 got a good possibility where it's sitting above the daily pivot at the moment. Maybe the R1's the way, but certainly not a clear direction. This market certainly range bound, but a smaller range bound as it's tightening into this wedge. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar managed to turn around a bit yesterday, pitched up back into the weekly pivot at the moment. From the daily perspective, does look like it could still have some legs to the upside. It's quite bitty where it sits at the moment. I'm looking at it from the downside potential at the moment in terms of a break of this trend. Could see it selling off. You see how yesterday it's just so choppy, no real direction or clue of direction, pitched up towards the end of the day. to me, it's more difficult to trade at the moment. As I say, there's a trend line across the lows here that you could be drawn. Break of that would be bearish. At the moment, it's sort of settling back in towards a more marginally bullish, so a bit like the euro in that respect, erring towards the bullish side at the moment. Would prefer to have seen that daily pivot ticked off before if I was looking to go long on it though. Okay, and finally the Canadian dollar. Not the easiest of markets to read at the moment, these. Canadian dollar, well, little turnaround yesterday, but holding at the moment, and price isn't really selling off yet. So at the moment it still looks like, well, on a weekly basis it still looks bullish on this time frame here. Still got the higher lows, higher highs coming through, hasn't really changed too much. Always keep an eye on that weekly pivot and may become a target at some point, and if we start seeing a breakdown of maybe the 50, and we've already seen the trend tested that I drew on there yesterday. I mean, that's a bit of a bitty one now. I mean, price just literally went sideways from there, but maybe I'll just redrawn that. If we see that breakdown, well, there's a chance it may head off towards that weekly pivot there. I would be expecting to see a solid movements in the euro, the pound, and probably oil as well for that to happen. Okay, that's pretty much that. Now let's just have a quick check out on the news today. We have German GDP that's already out. That came in under expectation there at 0.2 versus 0.1. I expected the growth to be a bit weaker, and maybe the well, it's not a major surprise. It's really what's expected here. But there we go. I say I expected it was expected it'll be weak, but it is weaker. The pound today, we got the inflation data out at 9:30. And then the US inflation data out at 1:30. So that's where we are. We've got Fed Chair Powell speaking at 11 p.m. this evening. So main things really 9:30 and 1:30 for news-wise. Brexit all day long for more the pound than the euro, but still there. Have a great day. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.